Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 190 of the High Sensitivity Podcast. And thank you for listening. If it's your first time here, we talk about video game and movie news as those we watched or played over the week. My name is Barry, along with my co hosts.
My name is Craig, 2024 model.
My name is also Craig, suffering in the cold and wind over here. It's so bad.
Well, it's
Please
bad
save
here,
me.
but then, Buffalo is terrible.
True, it could be
Kansas
worse,
City
I
is
guess.
terrible.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a tundra in the
Yep.
U.S. here.
But
Let me know when it's spring.
Exactly. Yeah, I miss spring already. It's moments like these when the wind is bad. I want spring again.
Yeah,
Regardless, we've been doing all these special podcasts, and now we're back down to the basics, back down to where we belong, which is leading with the news first. And to be honest, within the 3 weeks we haven't recorded anything about news. There isn't much left, or
there's not.
didn't much come out. So first, we'll talk about Golden Globe winners, because that did happen while we were
Mm-hmm.
doing our other stuff. And I'll just kind of go over the bigger winners here. Oppenheimer wins Best Drama. Cillian Murphy of Oppenheimer wins Best Actor. Robert Downey Jr. wins Best Supporting Actor of Oppenheimer. Wins Best Director and also wins Best Original Score. Barbie, I feel like they just kind of have to give her something, which is kind of wrong. That they
Yeah.
Yeah,
gave
Barbie got shafted hard.
the
Yeah, for
Best
real.
Achievement in Cinema and
Yeah.
Original Song. It's kind of weird they gave them that because it feels kind of like a pity prize because it was Barbenheimer. It was
Yep.
both it was both things. That was kind of the big achievement in cinema. I like the Barbie movie. I wish it had won more. I thought Margot should have won Best Actress. She did
Yep.
not. And then what matters to me as well is The Boy and the Heron wins Best Animated in a really weird. I need to see the movie and I plan on seeing it, but just with everything that the Spider Across the Spider Verse did right,
Mm-hmm.
I'm really
Yep.
surprised they didn't.
Our top 3 movies didn't really get a lot of love
No.
from the Emmys. Like our
I mean,
podcast is top 3 movies, like basically collectively.
Yeah,
John Wick's not ever going to get anything. It should. It was nominated in that category that Barbie won, and that's just I like that new category, which is hey, which movie that did normal people like, not which movie did actors and the people who have votes like. But yeah, what bothers me the most is the people saying well, we all expected this. Barbie is not a awards movie. I strongly disagree with that. If you're going to consider Oppenheimer one, I think Barbie is as well.
And that's a good call,
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, back when we all watched it together, if I thought that it would have won so few Emmys.
Yeah.
But I don't know. There's a reason why awards ceremonies in general get less and less popular every year with the public in general.
and
There
this
is a
year this
reason.
year was no different because
Yeah.
Joe Coy was that
Terrible. Yeah.
And I
his
like Joe
hosting job.
Coy, but I normally outside of hosting Emmys, I like him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't know. That was for me. The biggest sting for me though was the Last of Us.
Yeah,
That really hurt me. That I think the number of categories it was nominated for, and none of them won anything, and it all went to Succession,
yeah.
which I've tried to watch multiple times and just find the most boring TV show ever made.
Mm.
But I get it; it's an awards type show. But I don't. I guess I was holding out hope The Last of Us would win something, but it didn't.
Yeah.
It's just sad considering that The Last of Us is what all anybody was talking about for a little bit, and I feel like
Mm-hmm.
the reason Succession got as much popularity as it did, and to be fair, it is a very popular show from
Yeah.
what I listened to. It's just
Mhm.
a matter of it was the series finale, so it's
Yep.
this is the last time you give Succession all these awards. But then what other show is going to crop up that's okay, here's the next show that deserves all the awards sort of deal.
And Nick Offerman did win for Best Supporting Actor for The Last of Us. So,
Yeah.
there is that. But yeah, Succession, I just don't understand that show. I don't know why it's so popular.
Yeah, I racked up a lot of awards, but I
Hmm.
don't know. I guess it's to be expected considering the kind of show it is. Well,
Yep.
then let's get into game news then.
Sure.
So what I have left here is layoffs at Gearbox to start the year. What a wonderful time to be alive! More layoffs
Yep.
as as we bring in 2024. Hopefully, those people affected find better jobs that aren't going to lay them off like that. That's a pretty crappy thing to do, right? Heading right into the new year. We then have Sony's V2 version 2 controller boasting a longer battery life leaked on Canada retail sites. So people are more or less looking forward to that. And I just thought something cool. The Xbox Series S toaster. Like you have
Yeah.
the fridge, right, Craig? Are you gonna
Hmm.
get a toaster?
I
Ooh.
thought about it. It's only $40,
That's not a bad price for
but I don't have a
toaster.
toaster. I have a toaster oven.
Okay, yeah,
But it does put the logo on your toast, I guess, if you're into that. It's out at Walmart, I think carries it. $39.99 is what it was when I looked. I was like, oh, you know what? That's not a terrible price. I'm sure it's cheap,
yeah.
but what?
Have your toast served by Xbox.
If it made the
Everyone's
sound
dream.
like the
Oh man, if
Xbox
it made
turn
the
on sound,
sound.
I probably
Mm.
would buy it right away, you know?
That's a good
But
point. That's a good point.
I don't think it does, and I don't really need a toaster. Maybe if like it doesn't sell and it ends up being like $20, I might pick it up and just like put it on a shelf behind me or something.
Yeah,
Not even plug it in.
There you go.
but yeah, that's all I have for news. Anything else you guys want to talk about, or anything I missed?
Hey,
Um,
Craig.
yeah, I mean, we got some more Switch 2 rumors going
Yep.
around if we want to kind of go over those. A September 24th release date was, I'm going to put leaked in quotations because
Yeah.
it's not obviously confirmed, but that got out there. And then also, this one I kind of find hard to believe, but 120 hertz screen. I'll believe that when I see it coming
Yeah.
from Nintendo.
Literally, when you
Yeah.
literally see it in your hands.
I don't know about that one. And then a 399 price point, which is
Has to
that.
stay there. It has
Yeah,
to
Yeah,
be
it does. It
400.
does. It
Yep.
does.
I am not paying 500, but I am all ready to like trade in my old Switch for this one in September if that's the
Uh,
case.
Most definitely. Wasn't the leak? Was it Game Shark that leaked it, or
Yeah. Yeah, Game
Well,
Shark.
yeah. So
Go.
the whole point of that is that Game Shark is looking to get back in business
Right.
in,
which I'm for?
in leagues with the version V2. I miss
Yeah.
those things. I was thinking about that stuff the other day.
Yeah,
I
I
still
know.
have
Hmm.
my what
Game
is it
Genie.
called? I think it's Action Replay.
Oh yeah.
Action.
For my
Hmm.
3DS stuff. I loved doing that stuff. It is so
Hmm.
much
Yep.
fun. It's
Yeah,
a
but
fun little
I just
tool.
don't think it's supported really anymore like it was. Like I mean, Craig and I are a little bit older, so like I had the Game Genie for regular Nintendo,
Let's
and
go.
you had to like attach it to whatever cartridge you were using, shove that in your Nintendo, and then you had to get out the book, right, that came with it,
Hmm.
and look for the game, and then type in the codes
Hmm.
on the screen before you. Man, it was such a cool
There,
time.
there was such a novelty to that as a kid.
Hmm.
There was just such a novelty to that.
Yep.
I,
So
I miss
it
those
sounds like the
days.
3DS one was a little easier to use, so I'll
I
Yeah,
give you
mean,
that.
it was. I mean, if you could describe it, like picture, so it would attach to your cartridge, and not very well. You would shove the whole thing so your Game Genie's like hanging out of your Nintendo. You would push power. It would go to like this black screen with like gold letters and numbers, and it would like spin stars around the letter or number you were choosing. And then you had this thick book with just about every Nintendo game, and you'd be like, all right, Super Mario 3, uh infinite
it
lives, and
lives.
you type in the code, and then when you were done you would hit enter and it would load up the game. It was such a crazy thing. It
It
felt like
was.
you felt like a hacker.
You did. And you're right, Craig. It felt you felt like you were gonna break your
Yep.
Nintendo. Like when while you were handling it, it just looked like
Yep.
you were gonna mess something up. It just felt really. I don't know.
It definitely wasn't approved by Nintendo, that's
No,
for sure.
no. Mm.
Yeah, bring
Unlike
that
But
that.
stuff
yeah.
back though. That stuff is fun. I enjoy it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's cool. I mean, you don't even really see like input codes for stuff in games anymore.
you don't. We should
Like that's a
We should do like a best accessories, like throwback accessories episode. And like
That would be cool.
I don't know if I have a lot in my home, because a lot of it's back in my hometown. But like
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if I could visually show it, but that would be a fun thing to do, is just talk about
I
old
mean,
video game accessories.
still got my super scope. We could whip that
Yeah.
out.
We'll find
That
a
I
duck
did.
hunt gun
Yeah.
somewhere.
I have my regular Nintendo Zapper. We have that around here.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah.
last thing I have is just the Last of Us castings. I thought were pretty cool.
Yeah.
For season 2, we got Caitlin Dever coming in as Abby. I'll tell you what, I think she can pull it off. If you watch, I know I did. I don't know if you guys watched her movie on Hulu with the aliens, like No One Will Save
Oh,
You.
no one will save you. No, I haven't watched that yet.
I would say, like, if you're on the fence for a bit, like, oh, she can't do Abby, go watch that movie because she carries that movie by herself. I
Mm.
just think when I look at it, I'm like, oh, she's gonna have to get a little bit bigger. You know what I mean? Because Abby is like
Abby is.
intimidating,
Mhm.
and Caitlin is not. So if she puts on like some like muscle, I think she could. I think she'll be fine. But the other ones too, we got young Mazzino, and he's from Beef. I loved him
Mhm.
in Beef. He's coming in, and then Dora the Explorer is also going to be, I'm just calling her Dora
Stick.
the Explorer, Isabella Merced. But I love that movie, the Dora the Explorer movie. Thought it was incredible. She's going to be Dina. So I think those are solid picks.
Those are solid picks. Do we have
Like,
boots?
no complaints.
Do we have boots coming in at all? I'm just playing. That's a door or joke.
That's such an underrated movie. It really is.
I was looking at a story earlier similar to that, Craig, and young Manzino has like the perfect facial structure for Jesse.
Yep, he does. It's almost identical.
Yeah. It's just
Mm-hmm.
you gotta love a good casting. You know,
Mm-hmm.
gotta love a good casting.
I'm excited for that next season, next 2 seasons or whatever. I think it's going to be great. I think they have not missed on the casting yet. Even I felt like I was a little on the fence with Abby, but I mean, I think we're going to be okay.
Well, I think that's because that actress was very many times linked to being playing Ellie as like by fans. So it's kind of
Mhm.
strange to see that she like now she's playing Abby after fans linked her to play, wanting her to play
Yeah.
Ellie. But
Mhm.
I'm really okay with either. That show did such a good job. It's earned my trust. So whatever they
Yeah, and
decide.
everybody was against the Ellie casting originally,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and that worked out well too. So they know what they're doing. But those are really the only 2 things I had. Just waiting on that Switch.
Yeah, right. I'm going to follow the Last of Us news and say Last of Us Part 2 is getting essentially it's getting its own documentary, a making of documentary, which is going to be the sequel to the original Last of Us making of documentary. It's free to watch on YouTube. I feel like with something like that, if you haven't played the game or if you're waiting for the next season, I don't know how much you would want to watch of that, but for, people who have played the game, that's definitely something to look forward to. Especially with the genius that is behind Naughty Dog and the creation of both games. That's something I would watch the creation of for. So it's called Grounded 2. I don't know if I have a date for it yet. But that's coming up in the near future. One of the other things I have, speaking of the near future, is Starfield is supposedly getting a plethora of updates coming this
That's
year.
what Barry's waiting for.
I've
Um,
been waiting for this all along.
the next update promises, quote, over 100 fixes and improvements. Apparently, also a PC beta is arriving next week as well. And they are promising roughly every 6 weeks to have an update to, I guess,
Wow.
further bolster the love and tenderness that game needs.
Mhm.
I don't know. Do we see a resurgence in Starfield after some of these updates? What do you guys think?
Support it for 2 years like Cyberpunk has, and maybe I'll jump back into it and give it a shot. But major changes have to be addressed. No story should take you 10 to 15 hours to start getting into. My attention span's so short now anyway.
Yeah.
That's a good point.
Yeah, I would agree. I think maybe, but I think at this point it's going to be a little too late because now we're starting to get into games for this year coming out, and like I feel like it's going to get forgotten.
Yeah, at what
It
point do they
already
just
has.
switch and worry about Elder Scrolls instead? Because that's what the
Yep.
next big thing for them is.
That is.
Correct.
Yeah, put the focus on that.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, we'll see. It does have to obviously compete, like you guys, like Craig, you were saying, with the new plethora of games coming out this year. So we'll see. That might be a down the road Cyberpunk where we pick this up like in the lull time next year to give it
Mm-hmm.
like that real love, or give it time for it to get that real love. So, but I thought that was interesting. And then last thing I have is Xbox Developer Direct is happening on Thursday. It's just watch it. Specifically for Senua 2. Is
Mm-hmm.
is what I mean, there's other
Are they going to
interesting
give
things
us
on.
a date
I
There
hope.
has
finally?
to be a date. It has to
Yeah.
be.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's like so number one, this is an hour long direct. They really highlighted 4 games: Indiana Jones, Senua Saga, Hellblade 2, Avowed, and Era History Untold.
Mm-hmm.
It looks like they're all getting like 10 to 15 minutes a pop of like gameplay and showing. If you don't give us a date for Hellblade
Yep.
in a 15-minute, like, I need it. I
Yep.
need it. So
They should have given it to us at the Game Awards, but
they should
they
have.
didn't.
Mm-hmm.
It's weird.
They obviously don't have it ready to go for a specific time yet,
Yeah.
or at least they don't want to put crunch on them. So that's fine. But if that's the case, like, then say it's not coming out this year, so we can all be like, all right, cool.
Yeah.
I'll see you next year.
Yeah, it will be nice. But that's all I had. I'll be tuning in. It starts at 3 p.m. Central. Sorry, it's 3 p.m. Eastern for all us Eastern people, and then you guys can do the math yourself for the time zones. But yeah, I'm excited.
All right, so then let's talk about the games we played during the great backlog
Yeah.
time this time around, because this was your chance to get through the backlog because games are coming out now this month. Speaking of which, games I played was I finished and beat the DLC for God of War Ragnarok Valhalla. Finals.
The finals. Mm-hmm. I played a game I missed last year that was on my list, Figment 2. I don't know if I'm the first one, but I'm gonna say I'm the first one to crack open the Metal Gear Solid collection out of all of us. Was
Yep.
I?
Yep, you
Ooh,
are.
yeah, you are.
All right, I was. And then I've been playing a ton, and I have to talk about the Final Fantasy VII event in Apex.
Yeah. Yep.
Perfect. Um, I'm the slacker this week, guys, because I've just been trying to trudge through Baldur's Gate 3, which is takes so long.
Yeah, you have
You
another
Yep.
100 hours probably still.
Speaking of 100 hours, I have to.
Oh,
You guys are going to be disappointed in me because I needed something just like a break from Baldur's Gate 3, and
No. No, you didn't.
Persona again.
You
no,
didn't
no,
start back.
it's I
Okay.
don't know. It might be worse. It might not be worse. I started Elden Ring again.
Oh my god.
What
So
is this
many
man?
options, and you choose Elden
Yeah, what
Ring.
is this man doing?
Oh my
Oh
god.
man.
That's
I
insane.
just needed like a 3 hour break. So and I wanted to just play something where I died a lot. So I just picked up Elden Ring again. So
Don't you?
I
Yeah.
will not be carrying the video games this
Oh
week.
my god. This man never learns.
So I guess yeah. I guess I'll start off with it.
Sure.
I'll start off with God of War's Ragnarok Valhalla DLC free to anybody that has a PS5 in the game. Uh, Quite an interesting roguelike. I didn't really have high expectations for it, but it's really met and surpassed them all. Some pretty good story dialogue, some really like hard fought boss battles that I enjoyed. The roguelike aspect, I feel like they did pretty well. Um, it does the gameplay does a good job of like cycling you like to one path. So if you decide that you want to be, you know, you want your weapon to be the axe, you're gonna get a lot of stuff for the axe, and so on and so forth with the other two weapons. Um, just in general, it was kind of nice to revisit Kratos's past and how to look at a different lens, or how they showed his actions through a different lens, and why some of the actions that he did in his past games, while horrible, were justified in what he was doing. And just overall a pretty surprisingly big like DLC for story base. When you're playing a roguelike, I didn't expect it to have this much story in it, but it did. Um, The characters have grown since you've last played with them. Things have happened that you are learning about yourself during the DLC. If it, I always suggest like take a little bit to get back into the combat before you jump into the DLC. But overall, very impressed with the DLC and how well it is. I guess I shouldn't be like surprised, but I was, um, just by what they did with it. So I definitely suggest you guys play it.
Mhm.
I just have no desire to turn that game back on ever again.
We both know why, Barry. He's saying
Yeah,
that.
yeah, true.
It's surprising to me also how like that game still looks gorgeous.
Yeah,
Um,
it's
it's one of those things where I've been playing like Cyberpunk, I've been playing other games, unfortunately been playing Madden, and I load up God of War and I'm like, damn, this game still looks magnificent. So
yeah.
Hmm.
just overall, kudos to them, and hopefully you guys try the DLC. I'm interested to see what your opinions are if you decide to get
Would
through it.
would you say would you say that God of War or Horizon is the better looking game on PlayStation?
I know my answer.
I think my answer is Horizon.
I think it's God of
I think it's
War.
God of War.
So the
Yeah.
only thing for God of War for me is that it's a lot of snow. Um, Horizon is a lot more colorful, and my dumb brain is like colors, yay, sort of deal. So that would be the only reason I still pick Horizon. The detail on Kratos is still like second to none
Doesn't
in a
doesn't
lot
Ver-
of ways.
doesn't Horizon have a larger task with how much is being rendered at once as well?
Yeah,
Would you
absolutely.
say? Yeah, so like that's working in its favor, definitely.
Agreed.
And then the finals for me, the free shadow dropped
Yes.
team based shooter that came out. It's interesting. I will put it
Yeah.
that way. It is a mixture of, you have your light, medium, and heavy classes. Each class gets a certain thing. Trying to figure out what to say about it. I do like the destructive environments. I think that is fun and it's a neat way because a lot of the times we're faced in games with an objective that you can't move. You can literally blow the wall out from under the objectives in the middle of a match and like have it buried under rubble, or like it can legitimately be moved through sheer force of will. So there's a lot of interesting points to this game. I don't know how like long I'll be playing it just because there is only like 3 game modes. It seems as though the medium class is overpowered because they're the ones that get the defibrillators that heal your people back up instantly. They're the ones that get the healing gun that
Mm.
heals your people up quickly. I've been having a fun playing as like a light or heavy character, but I just
Mhm.
feel as though there's so much importance on the medium that if you don't have a medium character, then your team's screwed otherwise. But I I do find certain aspects of this game fun. I just
Uh,
feel like you probably have to have a team. You're probably not having a lot of fun playing it on your own.
Yeah, I played it for like an hour. I was trying all the different classes. I think it's different. It wasn't something that really like caught me. That I was like, oh man, I'm gonna play this every night. Something was just like not quite clicking. I like the idea of it being 3 teams. Like
hmm
that's cool, and it's just
Yeah,
something different than your normal battle royale. And it looks good.
yeah. There's 3v4 game types as well. Uh,
Mm,
kind of chaotic, but it's one of these things where the one game mode you can either open up banks and get money or kill people. It's one of those things where I like that the game doesn't like the person who has the most money is never like, oh, here he is, go kill him. Kind of like how
mm,
Call of
Mm.
Duty will reward you for marking yourself or collecting a bounty so that you can, highlight and kill the person that you're looking to do for money. It's more or less if you stick with your team and you communicate. It's one of the rare times I feel like it physically affects. Just because I was playing with someone else and then another random, and that random was always almost a hindrance, almost all of the time, because
yeah.
there's no communication to it
Yeah.
at all. So I think that
And
for
the
what you're looking.
sniper class feels real good. I really enjoyed using it. It's just like if you're trying to do anything as far as like collecting the money, you're pretty much useless.
Yeah,
like
you have
trying
to
to
hope your
defend.
teammates are picking it up.
Yeah.
Mm,
But it feels like that sniper feels great. I'm gonna try it again. I was just like, I played it for like a day, and I was like,
Yeah, let me know when you're
maybe.
playing it. I'll
Yeah,
pick up a couple
yeah, we can
matches with
definitely
you.
do that. Yeah. All right. Figment 2, not to be confused with Figment 1, which just dropped on Game Pass, which is weird that the second one was on there before the first one. This
yeah.
is like a relatively short experience. It's like 3 to 4 hours to get through the second one. Um, I really, really enjoyed it. It's kind of a you can kind of look at it as like a I don't even know, like a almost a top down, but it's kind of like a Dark Souls style combat. But it's not like super in depth. It's like you have a dodge and an attack, and that's it. I think what sets it apart for me is it's like musically based. So like the characters, there's
Yes.
like
Okay.
songs, they're singing, like the bosses sing. It's there's really like one major boss, but like every time you fight him, it's like he has a different verse for his song, and it's very the whole game's very catchy. So both games are actually really good. The first one's really fun too. They're just like nice contained experiences, and that's what I was looking for in these past couple weeks. I was like, I don't really need anything super in depth, you know. Give me something easy. So Figment
Hmm.
2, go check that out. They're both on Game Pass. They're a good time. And am I really? I'm the only one open Metal Gear.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think I don't know if I want to open
Yeah,
it. Maybe
yeah,
keep it
go
as
ahead.
a
Yeah,
collector kind of thing.
go defend yourself, Craig, because
That's what
I
I
get it.
feel compelled to. I,
Nah,
I feel
I
you know
mean,
how much I love Metal Gear Solid.
Yeah, it's you two that are the Metal Gear fans.
I just want to point out that you two both bought it on release, right?
Yes,
Hmm.
I got it for Christmas and I opened it before both of you.
yes.
That's a point.
Um,
That's a
so
point.
I only have started the first one. I played a little bit of the one that I used to play on regular Nintendo because I saw that was on there. I was like, oh, I remember that game. But the majority of my time was with Metal Gear Solid. I mean, for me, the nostalgia is there. I love playing Metal Gear Solid. So I'm like, this is good. But I do have to agree that like not a whole lot was done. Like it's just here's the game. We didn't really upgrade the graphics in any way. Controls are fine. Um, they didn't really like it needs an update. Is what we need, a remastered Metal Gear Solid. I don't. I know they're starting with 3. I wish they would have started with Metal Gear Solid.
I do as well. I do as well.
But I'll take 3. Go
So
ahead.
it's just a cash grab. It's like we're gonna give you,
Eh, yeah.
for the most part, we're gonna give you the collection. Us three bought it,
Hmm.
and then we're gonna just get like the remastered each version where they do all the changes and fixes. You know,
Probably. I think it depends on how well Metal Gear Solid 3 the remaster goes, because that's obviously the most popular one. I get it. 3 was huge, makes sense. But I would hope that enough people are going to buy this that they could then go into and be like, hey, let's do 1 and 2 and let's
mm,
give it the, it deserves it. I think I will go to the grave saying that the first Metal Gear Solid is the best story. I think
by
it's
far,
well above the third.
hands down.
Well
Shadow
above. Yep.
Moses, hands down.
Yeah. Well, yeah. So I'm gonna play through it, and it's a great game for me to like. Hey, I'm gonna play that for like an hour today. I still remember where everything is because I played it so many times. So it's not like a chore to play that game. I'm like, oh, yep, this still works. Um, I enjoy it. It is. It could have been better. Yes. If you haven't played them, I think it's fair to want to pick it up and play through it. Just know that it's a little dated. Right? It's a little rough.
I have a question for you, Craig.
Yeah.
How did it feel getting in the elevator?
At the
Just with,
beginning.
yeah, with him taking all the gear off. Oh,
I mean,
that had to have
that
felt
was
good.
such a cool moment when that originally came out, and you're like, "What am I playing? What is this game? This is wild." Yeah, I mean, it's a great game, one of the best games of all time. It
And,
really is.
and in terms of remasters for people like us, Craig, if they're starting with 3, let's say it's
Hmm.
successful, they're going to go back to 1. That's the other one
Yep.
that we really, really, really want updated.
Mhm.
I like 2. I know that it's polarized. I like
Yep.
2, and I like 4, and I know it's polarized. So at least they'll get the 2 best ones out if this one is successful. Like let's
Yeah.
say, I don't know why they would stop if 3 goes well and then they go back to the original, but they'll get the 2
True.
ones out first.
Yeah. Yeah. So I mean, I don't know. I don't know if to like. Do I recommend it? Do I not recommend it? I guess if you haven't played it and you're interested, yes, play it. Just understand that it's going to be a little rough to play through, and you're not going to feel the same way that Craig and I do about that game. That goes, I guess, mainly towards you, Barry. But I would still say play it because I think the story is enough that you're going to be like, okay, I understand.
Yeah, the moment you
Um,
guys mentioned Shadow Moses, it's like,
Shadow Moses,
I might try it.
Shadow Moses, and the DARPA chief, and
The DARPA chief
yeah,
and the
yeah,
Who are these
twists,
people
and
you're
the
telling
Metal
me about?
Gear, and Meryl, and
Revolver Ocelot.
Revolver Ocelot, and the Raven, and Psycho Mantis.
You know,
Man,
I at least know about Psycho Mantis because that's always
hmm
been like talked about as one of gaming's highlights.
Yes, it
Sniper Wolf.
has. Sniper Wolf, Vulcan
It,
Yep,
it's
Raven. Yep.
it's funny
yep,
for me just because it's still like Guns of the Patriots was my first soiree
I know,
into
yeah,
Metal
man.
Gear, and
yep.
that game was never so confusing. But I have
Well,
such a
you start.
Metal Gear Solid's not as confusing. It's
Well,
very
no.
straightforward.
Barry, do you tell anybody to start their Kingdom Hearts journey with Kingdom Hearts 3?
Yeah,
And like it's
true,
the
No,
same
true.
thing. It's this,
no,
there's
That's
so much
true.
absolutely
lore.
not. But
Yeah,
you have to keep in mind that it almost feels like 1, 2, and 3 was a different generation from when
yeah, it
I grew
was.
up. So it was like I got Guns of the Patriots when I was old enough to play and
Mm,
understand that game.
yeah.
Um,
Hmm.
I still remember my frustration with 4 because like in the
Yep.
very beginning, I'm like, what is all this? What am
Yeah.
I playing?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Raiden, who I thought was the coolest thing in the world,
He was
uh,
cool.
not
He's
having a
cool.
clue what he was.
Yeah,
So it's
he's cool. He has one of the
Yeah,
best cutscenes that decade. He has one of the best
he does.
cutscenes and you
He
know what
does.
cutscene I'm talking about, definitely.
You talking about in Metal Gear Solid or
I'm,
in 4?
I'm talking about in 4
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
of that decade. He has one of the best cutscenes.
Hmm. Yeah. Uh, and then Apex Legends. Barry and I played a little bit yesterday, but I've been playing it
I got thrashed.
every
I'm
every night
trashed.
since it came out. Here's what I can say about it. Like, obviously, me specifically, I'm a huge sucker for Final Fantasy VII. So if you put that on any game, I'm gonna be like, yup. I'm a little confused by the choices as far as like who they decide gets costumes and who doesn't. I did get one costume so far. I got the Cloud costume, but it's for man, what's his name? The one who throws up the drone. I never use him,
Crypto.
so I forget. Crypto.
Mm.
And that's my thing. I'm like, that's cool, but like I don't play as Crypto, so it's kind of like, eh. Um, the game mode is fun. You can get the Buster Sword. You can run around and like swing at people and block bullets. And there's materia you can put in your guns. That's a cool idea. Everything about it I'm enjoying. The only thing I'm not enjoying is the fact that if you want to collect everything, you're going to spend over $300. And Apex has been at the forefront of like the amount of money you got to put in to get what you want has always been ridiculous. Barry knows with his Watson heirloom and how much he spent to get that thing. Um, they have always been willing to push the envelope as far as how much people are willing to pay. And I think they've never gone this far. It's been like, hey, you know what? You can get the Buster Sword as an heirloom for your characters, but you're going to have to spend over $300. I have not seen a single person in the game with it. I'll just point that out. Not one person. Um, that's to me is like, all right, EA, like enough's enough as far as pushing how much people are willing to pay. How much have I spent on the Final Fantasy thing? $70.
Oh wow.
70 bucks. And I've gotten some cool gun skins, a couple character skins are nice. But I'm not spending $300. There's no way. I wasn't even playing this game. I had put it down until this came out, and I have a feeling in like 3 months I'll probably delete it off my hard drive again. So the fact of putting $300 into something that I'm not going to be playing in 3 months is like sickening to me.
Understandable.
It's
Especially
disgusting.
considering you could put those $300 toward like the Rebirth Collector's Edition and get a
Yeah.
Sephiroth
Yes.
statue instead.
Mm-hmm.
The one all three of us can't buy because we just can't do it. Like we just can't.
Sure.
It's too
Can't do
much.
it. Can't do it. Yeah, I agree. So I would say like check it out. Don't put a whole bunch of money into it unless I guess you really want to. It's your money. But I think the game mode is fun. It's a nice change.
Good.
Barry, you enjoyed it?
I did. I like running around with the Buster Sword is fun. I and like the materia, the little things it adds does spice up
Mm-hmm.
the gameplay a little bit more. Again, my fun with it was kind of based on how trash I've become at the game. Uh, I'm playing with like to be honest, I'm thinking about trying to get back on it tonight and
Mm-hmm.
trying to be better. Cross progression is nice.
Yeah.
Uh,
Mhm.
I do not have to worry about my Xbox and PlayStation account having different Loba skins. They're now all in one spot.
Yep.
You know, to think that I have the Watson heirloom, but when it comes to the money I've spent on Loba, it's pretty bad too. So just
Yeah.
keep that in mind, or do with that what you will. But I don't know. I really wish here's one thing, and like I've been playing a lot of Call of Duty lately with my friends, just because this is the time where they have time to play it. It's one
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
of those things where Warzone has done a very good job of like making you feel good because they put you in like the dirt rank lobbies or bots and stuff like that where you're just cleaning up house and you start to feel good, and then you get dragged back down to real people, and then you win one and it's like, yeah, this is great. Whereas with Apex, there really is no warm up. There really
No.
is no, hey, let's get into a map, make me feel good, and then take it all away. It's always, if you're not good enough, you're gonna suck at it still. So
Mm.
a part of me is like, I used to be okay at Apex, but a part of me is lately like, I gotta get better. I gotta be better.
You definitely have to dedicate a lot of time
Yeah.
to get back into it, for sure. But I've been having fun for the time being. I'll probably drop it in a week or two.
But then, Craig, your wonderful games. How's Baldur's Gate 3?
It's great. I'm at the end of Act 2. There's just so much.
How many hours for Act Two?
Um, for Act 2, I think it took me. I think I spent like 30.
Oh, Jesus. So
Um.
how many do you have total right now?
Uh. Oh man, what was it? I think it's 89.
Oof. And you're only on Act Two, Act Three.
Act 2. Yeah, haven't beaten Act 2 yet, but I see the light at the end of the tunnel. There's so much side stuff, guys. It's really a wonderful game because like the first act, and this won't ruin anything for anybody who hasn't started yet, but the first act is a great introduction. You can get lost, but it's a very sunny um type of area, very nice in a lot of places, and the danger areas do have different color changes, but act 2 is dark, like literally and figuratively. Like you get in there and then it kind of takes this turn, and there's some really great character creation that they had, and especially in some of the enemies that you're fighting, some of the bosses, mini bosses, things like that. So it's a really great section, and I'm getting way too lost in it. There's a almost what like Elden Ring had legacy dungeons to let you know that that's a longer dungeon. Like there's one area that I found that I walked, I don't know, 5 minutes in, and I was like, oh, this is going to take me a bit. It just opened up. There was multiple stories in that area and multiple quests to finish. So the combination of that, and like to be honest with you guys, a lot of the upkeep is what takes so long. You go on a small run, so to speak, and then all your characters are encumbered. You go back, you figure out what to sell, you figure out what to store. There's a lot of D&D things that I like that kind of makes you feel it makes you feel so in control of how you're progressing the game. Am I taking a long rest here? I know if I take that long rest, there's probably going to be somebody waiting at camp to talk to from something that I did finish. I'm starting to get into some of the romantic storylines, as well. um
Starting to get into that warm embrace of the year.
well, yeah, because it
Yeah,
was
warm
funny.
embrace of the year, baby.
Because like it was really funny. I was playing this game, and like my wife and I game next to each other, and sometimes our gaming position is like we have a long table, and we'll just put both laptops on there, and we'll just play side by side. So we're peeking at each other's screen, like, oh, how's the game going? How's the game going? Well, I got into one of those romantic storylines right there, and I just kind of sat back and let it happen. My wife didn't say a word. Not one.
Nice.
Not even. You can't. It's not even like you saw her holding back a chuckle or a what the heck is going on. Like she was so engrossed in her game that she had to have seen it. I mean, the screens are like right here, and I just let the scene play out.
Yep.
Like that kind of thing. So there's a lot of stuff going on. I'm trying to make sure my characters are prepared because I'm still. It's great. Your butt gets whooped the whole time, unless you make a couple of moves in the right direction. So it's fantastic. I should have beaten this a long time ago, and I'm trying to beat it. I shouldn't have been playing Elden Ring, but I'm trying to beat it before we get Suicide Squad, Persona 3 Reload. When's Infinite Wealth coming out, Craig? Is that February 2 or
That's
is that
this. No,
that's
that's this month. It's in like 2 weeks. Yeah. Yep.
I'm
You're
not
not gonna finish it.
There
Oh
is
my
a game that's
god.
also, and I think Infinite Wealth may be coming out the same day that Last of Us Part 2 Remastered is coming out.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
know
The
there's
Last of
another
Us Part
game.
2. I don't know about that. Like,
I
I mean,
know
I'm gonna
there's
buy
another
it for
game
$10,
coming out. Yeah,
but I'm not gonna play through The Last of Us again. I don't got the time.
I think I might. But also
I just did.
we have Persona 3 coming out this month, don't we?
February 2nd. Trust me.
Oh,
Yeah.
I
okay.
mean, I know. I
But you
Game
know,
know.
Pass, right?
And it's
yeah.
Game Pass too, so we don't have to
Yeah.
spend any money, Barry. And
You're
they
still
modeled
going
it,
to.
and they modeled it a lot after Persona 5 too. They like revamped it Persona 5-esque. Come on, Barry. Get your Persona. Let's get our Persona shoes on. We don't own Persona
It's
shoes.
funny. I'm ready.
You know what? You know what I think we should do is all right. So what day? Hold on. What time or what date does Persona 3 come out?
Persona 3 and Suicide Squad, I think, come out on the same day, which is the 2nd of
Oh, okay.
February. So we're gonna
Okay,
have to make some
so
decisions here.
all right, so Persona 3 is February 2nd. What day does Infinite Wealth come out? Let's see. January 26th.
Okay, so it's the week after.
So what I propose is if I start Infinite Wealth the week that Persona 3 Reload comes out and see which one of us can finish it their respective games first. Can I finish Infinite Wealth, which they have already said is an insanely long game?
Oh, did they? I didn't.
Oh, it's massive.
Fantastic.
Before you guys finish Persona 3. How long is Persona 3?
Probably longer, but it's an
Is it as
Atlas
long
game.
as 5? I've never played it, so I don't know.
Yeah, like Catherine Full Body is a short Atlas game. Every
Right.
other Atlas game is like
I'm gonna look.
110 to 140. Am I right, Barry? And about
I really should be playing Catherine.
Catherine's good.
play
All right, so
Catherine, Michael.
Persona 3 is about 82 hours. All right.
That makes sense.
Yeah, because I think that's fair because they have said that the new Infinite Wealth game is like ridiculously long. Like over 100 hours is what they're saying.
I'm super excited about that because I am excited for that game.
I feel like we should do that. See who
Okay.
can finish first. Because I'm not going to beat Persona 3. You guys know that.
Yeah.
There may be a day. No, there's not.
No,
There's not
because
gonna
I've
be.
tried Persona 5 like 5 times now.
I know.
It's not going to happen. I'm going to try Persona 3, but I don't foresee me getting through that.
Let's see here. I'm just trying to think because I do think I will be playing a little bit of Suicide Squad. That game is dragged through the mud already. All of the gameplay.
I'm telling you, it's not bad.
Well, no, all of the gameplay I see of it, I'm excited to play it. Like, I think it's probably going to be like one of those games that everybody hates, but I like.
I had fun with it, and Barry, I think you and I are going to look at it like we looked at the Avengers game.
Okay.
I got the same vibe from it when I was playing it. That I was like, okay, this is another Avengers style game where the story I think is good. So I'm not worried about what they're saying about it. Everything I've read anyway has been like, once you get past the story, it just becomes like this grind fest. I'm like, it's the same thing the Avengers game was. And guess what? We both put it down after the story.
Yeah.
So as long as I get a decent story out of it, I'll be fine.
There's no way you can't with that storyline either.
Yeah,
like that's the
sure.
storyline we all like. The same reason why I loved Injustice. I'm not a fighting game person, but I love Injustice. Like their storyline. That's a fantastic storyline.
It just hit me. Crap.
Uh-oh.
So we might have a 3-way tie here. Just because if you guys look at it as well, so you're playing Infinite Wealth.
Yeah.
You'll be playing Persona 3. Grand Blue Fantasy Relink is coming out for February 1st, I think.
Is that a 100-hour
No.
game?
I think it has to be.
I think
Yeah,
it is.
you're right. You're
It's
right.
a JRPG. I think all three of us maybe caught in 100-hour games.
I mean, if we all took one and see who finishes first, that could be interesting.
Could be, yeah. And
That could.
we're gonna have
And
that right into Final Fantasy.
that would give me a
Yes.
reason to not give up on Infinite Wealth, because I still haven't beaten the first one because I kind of died off on it. But if I'm like, oh, I got to beat this first, that's added incentive for me to continue playing that game.
That is. It's funny that you didn't beat it, Craig, because I told you where I stopped. Right, I got caught up in the real estate game, and then I stopped playing after that.
Yep, that's a typical Yakuza game. You get caught up in the side stuff.
Yep.
But you guys still haven't done the last one with the dating sim, have you?
No.
I can't.
I love
say
your
I'm
recollection of it, though. I love your
think about it
recollection.
I think about it every other day. I think I could get
Do it.
I could get into the dating sim.
Do it. You'll have a good time, I promise.
Oh my god.
We got so far off where we started. We were on Baldur's Gate at some point.
I love this tangent. I mean, I said all really that needed to be said about it. It's a great game. It's easy to get lost in.
Finish it before these games come out.
Yeah, I'm gonna try, man. A lot of it is upkeep, man. It really is just unloading your inventory and getting ready for the next time you go out. That takes some time sometimes. But yeah, I'll try.
That sounds horrible.
It's I like it.
It sounds terrible. It sounds awful.
It's preparation, and it's like
gross. It's the same reason why I hated Monster Hunter. Oh, make sure you do all this before you go on your hunt.
Man,
No, I don't want to do that.
Monster Hunter.
Yeah, I know, Craig. You don't want to put two daggers side by side and look at the buffs that they have on there, and then weigh that one has a slightly lower attack.
No, I don't.
Attack die
I
than
want to play. I work 40 hours a week. I don't want to do more. I just want to play a game.
There you go.
You're not wrong.
Movies and
TV shows. So here's the thing that I will admit. I've been lacking on TV shows lately, just overall. Sports are starting to ramp up, but also starting to ramp down. So I'm kind of looking forward. Also, I can't believe we didn't mention this in the news. How about the heartbreak that we did not get the EA NCAA trailer?
I'm trying not to think about it.
Okay, sorry I brought that back up then. Back to TV and movies.
How dare you bring that up? I had forgotten about it today.
back to TV and movies.
I watched that whole thing. Like, where's the trailer? Where's the trailer? Where's the trailer? Never got it.
I watched Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom.
I'm sorry.
Oh man.
As you all know, my New Year's resolution was to try and watch every movie. So like, I'll have probably more than I normally would this year. But I knocked out Good Grief, Society of the Snow. I watched the entire Echo series on Disney Plus for Marvel. And then on a request from somebody else, I actually, since I've never watched it, started watching Love, Death, and Robots.
Oh, you have?
Never watched it.
I need your take, man. I love that. I love that show, man. I love that show. Well, I have the weird one, Craig. You know what I'm going to talk about.
Hey, you never answered my question. Thanks.
Oh, I didn't.
No, you didn't.
I watched Saltburn, and then questioned everything that I knew about everything.
I thought I got my answer because you had messaged me and said like I watched that one scene, and then I messaged you the following day, and I was like, "How'd the rest of the movie go?" And you never responded.
Oh, I'm
like,
sorry.
That bad. But anyway,
yeah.
Speaking of bad, Barry.
Good segue. Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom.
How lost is that kingdom? How lost is that kingdom?
Just trying to
I can't believe you sat through that.
I'm just trying to think about what I'm going to say about this movie. It is a really dumb hero movie. Like the problems I have with it are the beginning is so like overdone and cringy. I guess you're wondering who I am. I'm Aquaman, and this is everything that's been going on with me since you last saw. I had a kid.
Dear God.
I reconnected with my dad and my mom. They're together. My brother's in jail because I put him there. And for whatever reason, Mira's in this movie a lot more than you think she is, despite all of the drama that went on with her. So the CGI though is it is rough sometimes, man. it's funny to me where I watched recently watched both Avatar 1 and Avatar 2 recently. Both of those are like spectacle movies that
Yeah.
are, wonderfully done CGI. Aquaman is again a very much a very CGI movie, but it just isn't great. The CGI is not great in it. There's always these lame one-liner jokes that they're still trying to push on. The
Mm-hmm.
the one the one redeeming quality about this movie, uh, I really think Jason Momoa, it's like Aquaman and King Orm's like buddy cop sort of deal. I actually think that's genuinely like endearing. I think it's kind of fun. They have a
Mm.
lot of fun with it, and I think that part of the movie does keep it going. Um, Mantis is a weird villain. He still looks weird in his costume. Uh, it 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 I it is a very forgettable movie. Very
Yeah.
forgettable. I've kind of forgotten a lot about it already, and I really just I guess look forward to James Gunn at this point taking the reins and finally seeing what he plans on doing with everything. Just because it feels like right now it, it's everywhere, and I'm kind of glad that I think this is the last one. Like now we're
Yeah.
gonna get a break, unfortunately, and I say unfortunately because I like DC comics and stuff like that. But unfortunately, we're gonna have to wait probably another 2-3 years before we start seeing DC stuff again.
Besides like the TV shows and stuff. Yeah.
Mm.
Do you think that maybe, obviously I haven't seen it, but like I get the vibe that they're like, all right, the James Gunn stuff's coming. This Aquaman movie was never going to be a good movie. Don't even worry about making the CGI look better. Just put it out and let's see if we make some money.
I do feel like that's the way it's been for a couple of the DC movies already. Flash
Yeah.
had a lot of the same issues with
Mm-hmm.
CGI, whereas there are lower budgeted movies with like CGI that looks better than what they're doing.
Like
So
Love, Death, and Robots.
there you go. That's a TV show, maybe a little bit different with
Yeah,
that.
but they had a smaller budget.
Yes, I do love your comment there, Craig. Though
I'm
they
just
make
like,
they
that's
make
like
the
top
most.
tier,
Yeah,
top tier CGI.
yeah.
Yeah, but just looking forward to more movies of I'm looking forward to the other movies I'm gonna watch this year. The
Yeah.
Aquaman is probably my.
You can just put it out of your mind. You never have to bring it up again. It's not going to end up on a list.
You're
We
right.
don't do worse movies.
Not yet.
No, we should. Yeah, that might. There's another award for next
Worst
year.
movies. Yeah. Worst. Yeah. That's worst movies might be worth looking into. I'd be okay with it.
Yeah.
Honestly, that one's probably at the top right now, right?
Yeah, well, it came out last year, so I don't know if
So
we
it
can
gets a
count it.
pass.
It's a
It's been
It gets a
spared.
pass.
It's been
You're
spared.
lucky, Aquaman.
We're spared in
Uh,
the past.
all right. So, good grief. Number
Mm.
one movie on my list of all the movies coming out this year that I knocked out. Dan Levy movie. I love me some Dan Levy. Schitt's Creek's great. He is a fabulous writer. That movie is incredible. It's just very sad dealing with the death of his husband and everything that goes along with that. Not a movie I would have normally watched, but it gets added on there because I'm trying to watch everything. So I'm glad I did. Uh, Definitely worth a watch on Netflix. Go watch that. Society of the Snow is a Spanish. It's a movie in Spanish, but they dubbed it in English. I watched it dubbed. Um, is about a rugby team that is a true story of a rugby team that their plane crashes in the Andes and they have to survive for weeks with no food. Implying, yeah, there's some cannibalism going on there. Incredibly well done movie. I know this was nominated for Best Foreign Film recently. Um, so that is also a movie you should definitely go watch 100%. Also on Netflix. So those are two great movies on Netflix to start off your year. Echo. Did you guys watch any Echo? Barry, did you watch any Echo yet?
I didn't.
No,
Okay.
I've been very bad with TV shows, like
Okay.
historically.
So, just like DC, Marvel's kind of in a weird place right now, where everybody's kind of tired of Marvel. Nobody went and saw the Marvels, which was the last Marvel movie. We only have Deadpool this year. So coming out with something like Echo, where it is a more mature TV show, kind of like Daredevil. Um, I enjoy when Marvel gets weird, and I think that they get weird with Echo. It's only 5 episodes, so it's not very long. I've never seen a TV show where 75% of the show is done in sign language. It's very
Oh,
cool, and I enjoy that they're doing that. And you put on top of that um, the heavy emphasis on like Native American indigenous people being the highlight of this show, and it works extremely well. It's not an action heavy show at all. It's a lot of uh, backstory for Echo, right? The character and like what her ancestors went through. She gets her powers from her ancestors. So it's like, here are her 4 ancestors throughout the years that have had the same power. It gets passed down to one woman to protect the tribe, basically. It's very, very cool. I enjoyed it a lot. You get cameos from Daredevil. You get Kingpin's the villain. So Kingpin is back, and I love Kingpin. He was awesome in Daredevil.
yeah.
Overall, it's a very, very small scale Marvel TV show. So you don't want to go into it expecting like these huge set pieces with explosions. You're not getting that. This is like a really good story with like 2 or 3 action scenes in it. So it's not your typical Marvel, and I think they need to do more of it. Honestly, just like the movies are there for the superheroes. I would prefer the TV shows give us the backstory personally. Like, let me really dive into this person and why they are the way they are. Like we saw her in the Hawkeye TV show,
Yep.
right? And you get Hawkeye in the first episode. So like there's that tie in there. But breaking off and being like, yeah, she was a villain, quotations, in the Hawkeye TV show. Now you see why she was working with Kingpin. So I really, really liked it. I thought it was very well done. I don't know if it's going to get any recognition at all because everybody's like done with Marvel. I still enjoy superheroes, so I will be there for all of these. And then Love, Death, and Robots. I am like halfway through the first volume. Uh, I don't know why I didn't watch it. These are really cool. The idea of like these like 10 to 15-minute self-contained stories, and the CGI is like, most of it is like mind-blowingly good. It's insane. I don't know why I missed it, but I'm kind of sad I did. And I'm thoroughly enjoying it. You can knock out like, I'm knocking out like 2 or 3 a night. I'm just like,
Yeah.
yeah, I'm gonna watch like 2 of these, and each one I haven't found one bad yet. I think the only one I kind of like looked at weird was the yogurt one,
Okay.
but like sentient yogurt takes over the
Yeah, it
world, and
takes
I
over
was
the
like,
world.
what?
Yeah.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
everything else has been so cool. Like, I'm trying to think. There was the one where they were, it was a like controlling like these monsters, and they were fighting and like for money or something, was super
Yeah,
cool.
I know which one
That
you're
one's
talking about.
awesome.
That
Those are
one's
all,
that one looks really good too. It's a
yeah.
very good
Barry, have you
looking.
watched it at all?
I think I've watched maybe 1 or 2 episodes.
Okay.
Um,
You would love
I
it if you watched it
Yeah.
all.
I well, like I think a lot of people compare it to almost a Black Mirror type
It
of.
is.
Yeah.
It
Yeah, for
Yeah.
is.
sure. Yep. Only like, yeah, animated, right?
Animated Black Mirror shorter episodes,
Yeah.
but
But I
anthology
haven't,
on all that.
yeah. And I've just like every one, I'm just like, oh, this is cool. And they do such a good job of like immediately getting you invested in this 10-minute, 15-minute show, and then like getting to the point. Even the one with Topher Grace where they open up their freezer and there's like a civilization in their freezer.
Yes. Yeah.
I was like, this is
That
so
I've
cool. And it,
seen that one. I've
yeah,
definitely seen that one.
Did you see
like
the
so
vacuum
random.
one? Did you see the vacuum one?
No.
Like there's like a
Is
lady,
this I
she has
also
like a
wanted to mention, is this the one
Mhm.
TV show that like showed people episodes in different orders?
I don't know.
Because I know
I
Netflix did
think
that at
so.
one point.
I think
Okay.
so. Are you talking about like you try to start watching it and it starts at season 3 by accident via Netflix and you're like, what's going on kind of thing? Is that what you mean?
I maybe
I
it
think
was
it's ordered incorrectly. So, like at least it
Okay.
was for me when I started watching because I think I accidentally started watching season 2 before way
Mhm.
before I realized it, and it was because it started in Netflix for me on season 2.
I mean, you
Uh,
could really start wherever,
you
right?
can luckily with that show you could start
yeah.
Yeah.
wherever.
but I've been having a blast with it. I think it's awesome. I'm
Yeah.
just kind of sad I missed out on it. I don't know why I skipped over it.
Th-
Definitely cool.
yeah. There's a lot of gems in that series.
Yeah. Now give me the review I really want, Craig.
Oh, Saltburn. Ooh, burned into my memory.
Are you on
Um,
this side or this side? That's what I want to know. There's no middle.
oh, I'm on. So I really liked it.
Hmm.
I really liked it. I know that there's a lot of discussion and back and forth going on about this movie. That's really why I watched it, combined with your take on it, Craig. I think you were honestly the straw that broke the camel's back for me watching it, because my wife was talking about it as well, because you couldn't go anywhere without hearing about it, like the last couple of
Hmm.
weeks. But so I don't know. Do I talk about it, or do we not want to ruin it for people? Because you
Bear, are you
told.
gonna watch Saltburn?
You guys make it sound like this weird.
Oh, it's weird.
It's weird.
Maybe tiptoe around it.
No, just say whatever you want. I don't care.
Yeah,
Well,
but half
like,
the fun is not knowing what's gonna happen.
yeah. So here's what I can give you to kind of, I don't know, wet your whistle with it. That's probably the wrong
Sure.
terminology based off of the movie itself.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
like, what you're gonna get is like a midsummer Clockwork Orange delivery in terms of creativity and shots and color.
Yeah.
But essentially, it's about this doesn't I don't know if this ruins it for you. Essentially, it's about a gentleman who goes to Oxford. He's a standard outcast, really, really smart. He meets a very charismatic gentleman in Oxford. The two befriend each other while going to school together. And he essentially becomes kind of like this guy's social introduction, or at least social teacher, so to speak, in a way. He's just a very charismatic guy. Everybody likes him. He's got like the I play lacrosse body kind of thing. And he's good. And he's like, all the ladies on campus love him. So over the summer, he invites the strapping gentleman, invites the main character to his
Castle.
luxurious castle called Saltburn. And then what you do is you experience the summer months with him and his eccentric family. And that's where the stuff really starts to go down. But there's a lot of themes in this, man, which is what makes it great. Now, number one, it's very, 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 very well shot,
Yeah.
which is what I loved. It keeps you. My wife and I looked up a video on it after, so we can understand how they kind of like broke down some of the things. What they do is they keep it so that you, as the viewer, always feel like you're kind of sneaking and watching them. That's the way they shoot the film. They have specific angles where you always feel like you're either a fly on the wall, or you're peeking behind, like, past down a hallway and hearing the conversations between characters. And that is what bakes you into the movie.
Yeah.
It's exactly what bakes you into the movie. And I could tell, because like my wife is not the largest fan of like many British films. Like there has to be some type of thing that backs it up for her to watch it. I don't mind myself. Um,
Oh,
and
it's
that's
got
also,
Barry Keoghan in it.
Yes,
yeah,
it does.
yeah. And it's it's a wild ride, man.
Yeah, it is.
It's a wild ride. And I don't know if I want to give away too many themes, but that's essentially what it is. There's like love, obsession, eccentric, rich people being rich, and you
Yep.
wondering how they're able to actually do that. I get a little bit of a hint of Midsummer Night's Dream in there. I know why,
Yep.
because they have a party that is very similar to that theme, if
Yes.
not that theme. Um, but there's a lot going on in one package. I understand why it is disliked,
Oh yeah.
but myself, and I could speak for my wife too, because she's not on air right now, we were basically engrossed. Now, can I watch this 6 months down the line? If I had somebody who hadn't seen it, so I can experience somebody who hadn't seen it watching it again, probably, because there are a couple of scenes that are the talk of the town, which is why so many people, well, one of the largest reasons that people
Yeah.
are talking about it, and they're out there.
And they're
But
gross.
it's 1% of the movie. That those scenes, the thing that Craig said, gross. It's 1% of the movie. It's not like it's a continuous thing, but everybody plays the hell out of their part. You love to hate, you hate to love certain people, and it's a good movie. It's a really, really good movie. So that's Saltburn. Whew, that was Saltburn. 2 p.m. on a Monday, I watched it. So
It's the best time to watch a
it's the
movie like
best
that.
time to watch a movie like that.
You guys
I don't
make
even
it.
know, huh?
I was gonna say it almost sounds like my experience with the Green Knight.
Kind of, yeah.
One of
It's
those
a movie
really.
that, like, I watched it originally by myself, and I was so drawn in because I was like, what is going on in this movie? Like, why is everybody talking about this movie? Because I didn't look up anything. And then you get to a certain point when the first thing happens, and you're like, no, seriously, what is going on with this movie? And then you're just like, I have to see where this goes. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? Like, I have to know what's going on. And then at the end, you're like, wow,
Yeah.
okay. I
Yeah.
like what it did, but
Yeah.
it is very, like, you're either going to watch it and be like, that was pretty cool, or you're going to be like, that was terrible.
You're gonna be
Right?
moved somehow.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's just gonna be in one direction or the other. But we were moved in the positive direction. It's a
Yeah.
good one. It's a good one.
Give it a shot, Barry. But if you do, like, don't look up anything. Go in blind. I think it's better.
Okay.
Fun fact,
I'll see.
Craig. I think it took
It's on
that
Amazon.
lady. It took
Yeah,
that lady
I
10
did look
years
at
to
that.
write
Yeah.
that.
Did it? 10
Yeah,
years.
yeah. She was baking. That's the second time using bacon, but she really had that script in the oven. She didn't reveal anything about it until it started getting filmed.
That's cool. I think it's written extremely well. They acted the hell out of that thing. And I don't think it got nominated for anything, did it? Oh no, he did get nominated for it.
Oh, did he? Okay.
Yeah, he did. He's not going to win anything, but, like, he acted the hell out of that. I'll give him that.
Yeah.
Full
Wow.
commitment from that man.
Full
commitment.
Okay, well, I guess we're gonna fully commit to the ending of the podcast here. I just do want to give a quick shout out, just because we did have someone on our YouTube. Shout out to Dark Fader 4511 on YouTube. Said he was watching from Australia, and
Sweet.
just wanted to say
Fantastic.
thank you for the support that we
Thank
get on
you.
YouTube. Hopefully, you are also watching the special 10s that came out, and now this one that'll inevitably come out as well. And with that, we're going to bid you all adieu. If you, let's see here, trying to remember the script, it's been a little bit. If you're listening on your podcast listening platform of choice, please make sure to like, subscribe, /follow, and leave a comment. Let us know what you think, and recommend us to a friend if you feel so inclined. If you're watching on YouTube, please make sure to like and subscribe. Comment below on how Oppenheimer deserves all those awards, because I'll be honest, I don't think it does.
Nope.
So there we go. There's the hot take of the podcast to end it off. And with that, we'll see you guys next time. Bye.
Bye.
Bye, guys.